I hate my job. How many times have you said that or heard someone else say that? I'm Dan Trippi, and today we're going to apply Christian thinking to everyday challenges in your job. If you've ever felt dissatisfied in your job, you're definitely not alone. According to Global Workplace, a survey done by Gallup, 60% of workers are dissatisfied with their jobs. 19% report feeling emotionally detached, and another 19% describe themselves as downright miserable in the workplace. Job frustration isn't just about Monday morning blues. No, it's a leading cause of marital strife, anxiety, depression, and eventually professional burnout. So today, let's explore how we can think Christian about our jobs, especially when we don't like them very much. I understand the frustration in your job. Early in my career, I worked in my father's auto repair business. The work was honest and it paid the bills, but I couldn't see beyond the paycheck. I kept asking myself, what's the point of all of this? Is there anything bigger at stake? Any more meaning? Over the years, I've met countless people across all different industries who feel exactly the same way. And I've discovered something important. Our work becomes frustrating when we fail to see its spiritual meaning. For centuries, theologians have warned against what we call the sacred and secular divide. Throughout church history, some have elevated the sacred work, the kind that happens within the church walls, is more important, devaluing everything else. Now, I've worked in the church for over 20 years now, and I deeply value the preaching and the teaching and the building up of the inner life of the human soul. The building up of the church work is good work. But my problem was that I viewed it as inherently more valuable than repairing cars in my family business. In my immaturity, I believed non-church work was somehow less than the supposedly more important work of tending to the soul, as if our everyday jobs don't influence our souls. This false divide left me feeling like my job had no eternal purpose, and I grew frustrated, and I even envied those that were working in more spiritual fields. The older I have become, the more I see the spiritual connections in all kinds of work. Here's what I didn't realize back then. Every time we repaired a damaged car, we were engaging in the art of restoration. My hands were participating in actions that reflected God's love and His redemptive story. How often did I miss the joy of contributing to a smaller act that communicated the greater of truth of God through history? God restores what's broken. And in my job, I was doing exactly that, restoring that which was broken. It testified of His redemptive plan. Moreover, I completely underestimated the role that work plays in our spiritual formation. I was privileged to work alongside my father, my uncle, and other men who formed me. They formed a community. My formation wasn't deeply theological and wasn't necessarily Christian, but it was principled, and I was shaped in honesty and duty and maintaining a good reputation. During those years, I wanted to be in the church because I wanted to help people grow spiritually. But what I missed that for 8 to 10 hours a day, my work was my community, and it offered tremendous opportunities to form people in Christian virtue while I was working on a shared project with them. No matter how hard we try in our church setting, an hour and a half on a Sunday in a bi-weekly community group isn't going to cut it. It doesn't give the same intensity as 40 to 50 hours a week in our career. We need both. In my trade, I also undervalued my contribution to the common good. We helped single mothers maintain safe transportation. I often acted as a negotiator between an insurance adjuster and a customer, often securing justice for those who didn't understand this world. As a young man, I never considered the greater good of putting a vehicle safely back on the road and how important that was to protecting our community. See, the paradox of professional development is that often we learn these lessons in reflection as we look backwards. So, how can Christian thinking help us stop hating our jobs and find fulfillment in our vocational calling? I want to offer 3 things, along a practical 3 things. First, consider how your work affects others. Jesus came to serve, not to be served. If you hate your job, Start looking for all the ways your work helps and serves others beyond just you getting a paycheck. Ask yourself, how does my employment benefit others? A real estate agent, they help people find homes where they can raise their family. Auto mechanics help maintain mobility in society. Plumbers help maintain safety standards that keep communities safe. Every job serves others in some way. Make the connection. Second, if you're struggling with your job, think about how it can positively shape your character. Deadlines, they instill a sense of duty. Healthcare workers develop empathy and patience. Engineers learn the discipline to pay attention to details. Our work isn't just what we do, it also does something to us. It shapes who we become. Third, expand your vision by asking, how can I direct this work towards God's redemptive plan for creation? Christians acknowledge that all things come from Him, including our employment. Ask yourself, how can all of my work be service unto Him? Since our gifts, our personalities, and opportunities, they all originate from God, they should be directed back towards Him, serving Him and others. The work of a Christian is spiritual because it's done out of a motivation to serve God and to serve neighbor. So ask yourself, how does my job contribute to God's redemptive activity in the world? We often hate our jobs because we fail to see the greater meaning and our God-given purpose within them. But it doesn't have to be this way. The Christian vision of work unleashes creativity, beauty, a comprehensive view of the future in our professional lives. By embracing biblical perspectives on our career, we can transform even the most mundane workplace task into something deeply meaningful, a contribution to God's kingdom. That's all for today's. You can read more of this article by clicking dantrippi.com. You can drop some comments and thoughts there. And also there's more content like this at dantrippi.com. So click there to read more.